Have you ever worked incredibly hard, sacrificed everything, stayed committed for years, only to look around and realize you're nowhere near where you wanted to be? Maybe you climbed the corporate ladder, only to find it was leaning against the wrong building. Maybe you chased a dream with passion and discipline, but it was the wrong dream. Or maybe you're exhausted from running, and you just discovered you've been running in the wrong direction. If you've ever felt that sinking feeling, that all your effort was wasted because you chose the wrong path, then this story is for you. Because once there were two men who both wanted to reach the summit. One ran faster, one chose smarter, and the ending will change how you think about success forever. Stay with me until the end. At the edge of a small village, beneath the shadow of the great Mount Serenity, lived two childhood friends named Daniel and Marcus. They were both 25 years old, ambitious, and hungry for success. The mountain above their village had 3 peaks. The highest peak, the sacred summit, was known to hold a legendary temple where, it was said, anyone who reached it would find clarity about their life's purpose. Many had tried to reach it. Most had failed. Some had died trying. One spring morning, Daniel and Marcus made a pact. "Let's climb together," Daniel said. "Whoever reaches the sacred summit first will have proven themselves worthy of greatness." Marcus nodded. "Agreed. We start at dawn tomorrow." That night, Daniel prepared with intensity. He trained his body, packed light, mapped out the fastest route he could find on an old, faded map someone had sold him years ago. "Speed is everything," he told himself. "The fastest climber wins." Marcus, on the other hand, did something different. He visited the village elder, a 75-year-old woman named Alaina, who had climbed the mountain in her youth. She was the only person in the village who had ever reached the sacred summit and returned. "Grandmother Alaina," Marcus asked humbly, "I want to climb the mountain. Can you teach me?" Alaina looked at him with knowing eyes. "Most people ask me how to climb faster," she said. "You're asking me how to climb at all. That's already wisdom." She took out a worn compass and a hand-drawn map, far more detailed than anything Daniel had. "The mountain has many paths, my child. Some look easy but lead to dead ends. Some look hard but lead to the summit. Choose your path wisely. It matters more than your speed." Marcus listened carefully, asking questions late into the night. At dawn, both men stood at the base of the mountain. Daniel wore running shoes, carried minimal supplies, and bounced on his feet with energy. "I'll see you at the top, my friend," he shouted, and immediately took off running up the widest, most obvious path. Marcus wore sturdy hiking boots, carried Alaina's compass, and studied the terrain carefully before taking his first step. He chose a narrow, winding path that looked longer, but, according to Alaina's map, avoided the dangerous cliffs. Within an hour, Daniel was far ahead. He could barely see Marcus below, moving slowly and deliberately. Daniel laughed to himself. "Marcus is too cautious. I'll reach the summit by sunset." The path Daniel chose was wide and clear. It felt right. It felt fast. And he ran with everything he had, his heart pounding with effort and ambition. Meanwhile, Marcus climbed slowly, checking the compass, observing the terrain, resting when needed. He wasn't racing. He was navigating. By midday, Daniel had been climbing for 6 hours. He was exhausted, but proud. "I must be nearly there," he thought, wiping sweat from his face. But when he looked up, he saw something that made his stomach drop. The path ended at a massive cliff face. Impossible to climb. No way forward. Daniel stared in disbelief. No, this can't be right. He checked his old map. It showed this path leading directly to the summit. But reality disagreed. The map was wrong, or outdated, or he had misread it. Daniel turned around and looked down the mountain. 6 hours of climbing, miles of distance, all of it in the wrong direction. He would have to descend all the way back to where he started and choose a different path. All that effort, all that speed, all that confidence, wasted. Daniel sat on a rock, his head in his hands, and for the first time in his life, he understood something devastating. Effort without direction is just exhaustion. He had run faster than anyone, worked harder than anyone, but he had run toward nothing. Meanwhile, Marcus had been climbing steadily on his chosen path. It was narrow, it was steep in places, it required patience, but every step took him closer to the summit. By the time Daniel was descending in defeat, Marcus was halfway up the mountain, exactly where Alaina's map said he should be. It took Daniel 3 hours to climb back down. By the time he reached the base, it was mid-afternoon. He was physically and emotionally broken. He saw the path Marcus had taken, the one he had dismissed as too slow, and made a decision. I'll take Marcus's path, I'll run it, I can still catch up. And so Daniel, exhausted but determined, started climbing again, this time on the correct path. But now he was 9 hours behind, and his body was already spent. 2 hours into the second climb, Daniel saw what looked like a shortcut, a steep, rocky scramble that could save him an hour if he pushed hard enough. I need to make up time, he thought, and chose the shortcut. Halfway up the scramble, his foot slipped. He fell, not fatally, but badly enough. His ankle twisted, pain shot through his leg. He couldn't walk properly, let alone run. Daniel sat on the rocks, defeated, injured, and alone. He had given everything, but his choices had destroyed him. That evening, as the sun began to set, Marcus reached the sacred summit. The temple stood before him, simple and ancient. Inside, there was no gold, no treasure, just a single inscription carved into stone. The right path walked slowly will always defeat the wrong path run quickly. Marcus sat down, exhausted but fulfilled, and understood the mountain's lesson. It wasn't about speed. It was never about speed. It was about wisdom to choose correctly. The night before the climb, Alaina had told Marcus something he would never forget. She had said, "Marcus, life will present you with many paths. Some will promise quick success, fame, money, recognition. They will look attractive. Others will look slow, difficult, unglamorous. But here's the truth. The path matters more than the pace." She held up her compass. This compass doesn't make you faster. It doesn't make the journey easier, but it shows you true north. And when you know where north is, you don't waste time running south. She paused. Daniel will run. He always does. He believes effort solves everything, but effort pointed in the wrong direction is just suffering. You must learn to choose before you commit. Alaina had taught Marcus 3 principles. First, pause before you sprint. Most people choose quickly and regret slowly. The wise do the opposite. They choose slowly and succeed quickly. Take time to study the path before you commit your energy. Second, seek guidance from those who've succeeded. Pride makes people trust their own judgment over wisdom. Humility makes people learn from those who've already walked the path. A good map is worth more than strong legs. Third, accept that the right path may look slower at first. The crowd always runs toward what looks fast. That's why most people fail. The few who succeed are the ones willing to take the path that looks slow but leads somewhere real. Sitting at the summit, Marcus understood that his success wasn't because he was stronger than Daniel. It wasn't because he tried harder. It was because he chose better. He had paused to ask for wisdom. He had followed a proven path. He had resisted the temptation of shortcuts, and now he stood where Daniel could not reach. Daniel was found the next morning by a search party, injured and demoralized on the mountainside. They brought him down, his ankle healed over weeks, but the wound to his pride never fully closed. For months, Daniel blamed the mountain, blamed the map, blamed his luck. But deep inside, he knew the truth. He had chosen speed over strategy, effort over wisdom, and it had cost him everything. One evening, 6 months later, Daniel walked to Alaina's home and knocked on her door. "Grandmother," he said quietly, "I need to learn what Marcus learned. I'm ready to listen now." Alaina smiled gently. "You learned the most important lesson already, my child. You learned that being ready to listen is the first choice that matters." A year later, Marcus and Daniel climbed the mountain again, together. This time, not racing, not competing. Daniel followed Marcus's pace. He trusted Alaina's map. He asked questions instead of assuming. He chose carefully instead of quickly. And this time, he reached the summit. Standing beside Marcus at the temple, Daniel read the inscription aloud. "The right path walked slowly will always defeat the wrong path run quickly." Marcus put a hand on his friend's shoulder. "You worked just as hard this time, my friend, but this time, you also worked smart. That's the difference." When they returned to the village, Alaina greeted them both. She looked at Daniel and said, "Now you understand. Effort is the engine, but choice is the steering wheel. Without both, you're just a powerful car driving off a cliff." My friend, this story is not just about climbing mountains. It's about every major decision in your life, your career, your relationships, your goals, your dreams. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You can work incredibly hard and still fail. Not because you didn't try, but because you chose the wrong mountain to climb. The world celebrates effort. Work harder. Never give up. Push through. And yes, effort matters. But effort without direction is just spinning your wheels. Before you commit your energy, ask 3 questions. First, am I choosing this path because it looks fast or because it's right? The crowd runs toward what glitters. The wise walk toward what lasts. Instant success usually means long-term regret. Slow progress usually means sustainable achievement. Second, have I learned from someone who's already succeeded here? Your pride says, "I'll figure it out myself." Your wisdom says, "I'll learn from those who've done it." Alaina's map was worth more than Daniel's speed. Find your Alaina before you start climbing. Third, am I willing to look slow to arrive right? The hardest part of choosing wisely is that it looks like you're falling behind at first. Daniel was miles ahead, until he wasn't. Trust the process of choosing well, even when others seem to be racing past you. Here's what they don't tell you about success. The people who made it didn't just work hard. They worked hard in the right direction. They paused to choose. They sought wisdom. They took the path that looked slow but led somewhere real. You have a compass too. It's called discernment. It's called patience. It's called the wisdom to ask, "Is this the right path?" before asking, "How fast can I run?" So here's my challenge to you. Look at the path you're on right now. The career, the relationship, the goal. whatever you're pouring your energy into. Ask yourself honestly, am I on the right path or just the fast path? If it's the wrong path, it's not too late to descend and choose again. Yes, it feels like starting over. Yes, it's humbling, but better to start over on the right path than to keep climbing the wrong mountain. If this story made you pause and reconsider your direction, give it a like and share it with someone who's working hard but might be on the wrong path. Sometimes the greatest gift is helping someone see there's a better route. Drop a comment. What's one thing you're doing that feels like running fast in the wrong direction? Let's help each other choose better. I'll be back next week with another story to make you think differently about success. Until then, remember, speed impresses people. Direction changes lives. Choose your path like your life depends on it, because it does. The summit is waiting. But first, check your compass.